G'day folks, my name's Dave West. I'm the National Policy Director and founder of the Boomerang Alliance. We're down here at Birkenhead Point Beach in Sydney today to announce our latest marine plastic pollution campaign, where we're intending to pull together a plan to cut 70% of Australia's plastic that's entering the oceans by 2020. This is the first in a series of webinars that we'll be producing each week, where we'll engage with our audience about the problem of plastics and specific aspects of it. This is a webinar style video, so it's quite deliberately a one-shot down and dirty cut, so don't expect any flash production values or things like that, just the raw facts. So plastic pollution is rapidly becoming one of the world's greatest environmental challenges. Like climate change, it's a global problem. In the order of 9 million tonnes of plastic will enter the marine environment this year, and that amount is dramatically increasing year by year, doubles about every decade. Unfortunately, Australia has a pretty significant role to play in that plastic pollution cycle. Globally, it's estimated that there's 1.2 kilograms of plastic per capita enters the ocean. In Australia, we produce between 90 and 120,000 tonnes of plastic marine pollution. That represents about 3.7 kilos per capita, so about 3 times what the world does. Just on half of that is us. What we litter that gets dropped in a park or on a roadside enters the stormwater system and is washed out into the drain. The rest of it are things where plastic is released during its manufacture and use. Things like nurdles, the plastic resin pellets that are used to produce plastic products and are swept into the stormwater system. And then things like synthetic fibres from washing your clothes, microbeads that are contained in laundry detergents and personal care products, and even the dust from our synthetic tyres being left on the road. Now, 2.4 kilos doesn't sound like a heck of a lot of plastic, but let me tell you, because plastic's really quite lightweight, it's a heck of a lot. My colleagues at Boomerang Alliance have actually made up a typical sample of what is released per person. Let's have a look. So, this is it. Imagine that pile times 25 million, and that's what we're throwing into the drink each year. About half of it is beverage containers, water bottles, soft drink bottles, even flavoured milk bottles. Estimated that about 420 million plastic bottles enter the marine environment from Australia every year. 180 million plastic bags. 10 million pieces of polystyrene packaging, another 10 million pieces of rigid plastic packaging like this, and then in the order of 10 million plastic products, whether that's toys, disposable forks, thongs, items of clothing. But the real problem with our plastic is microplastic. This stuff, as it goes through the stormwater, will fragment into smaller and smaller pieces. And that creates real problems because, one, it's more closely resembling what fish, seabirds and mammals eat, resembles fish eggs and things like that. But two, because it's got a very large surface area to its weight, microplastics become very absorbent and really take up the toxics that are found in the world's oceans. It's estimated that upwards of 2 million, that plastics are upwards of 1 million times more toxic than the seawater around them. And what that means is that fish and marine mammals ingest the plastic, take it into their bloodstream, and it passes along the food chain and ultimately ends up on our dinner plates. European estimates are that if you have a typical seafood diet, you're probably ingesting in the order of 11,000 pieces of toxic plastic. So let's have a look at microplastic, shall we? This is microplastic. And you can see this is pieces of bottles that are fragmented, a tamper seal, a little bit of plastic tape, the odd nurdle or plastic resin pellet that are used to injection mould and make plastic products, bit of thong. Along the coast, we estimate that there's in the order of 3,500 pieces of plastic on every kilometre of shoreline, but that doesn't include this microplastic. And our early sampling is indicating that you can add another 60,000 pieces of plastic for every kilometre that we're travelling along. So what do we do about it? Well, that's where we need your help. The idea of our campaign is that we will blog on every key issue to get your input on what should happen. You know, should we look at the new container deposit scheme that's been announced in New South Wales and hopefully Queensland and start thinking about extending something like that to coffee cups? Should we add polystyrene food packaging to bans on things like plastic bags and microbeads? Do we need to start working with councils to develop our planning for plastics regime where intensive waterfront developments have infrastructure to catch litter and systems to make sure that they minimise the plastic that has the potential to enter our environment? Where to from here? Well, in the first instance, check out our blog and start following our weekly webinars so that you can add your 2 cents worth in and tell us what needs to happen. We'll pull that together in October at a national conference where we'll actually run a congress to develop a plan to hit those numbers that we will present to industry. I hope you can give us a hand and get involved, and we look forward to talking to you more. Thanks.